What is going on, YouTube? PPS back here. It is the 15th. We're already halfway through the month of August. Dog days of summer here. This is when we're coming down to the wire for some MLB playoff runs, wild card chases, all of that fun stuff. Joined as always with my guy Monotone Footbal. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. Like you said, it's an interesting time of year. It does not feel like the 15th already. It definitely does not. But yeah, we still got plenty of baseball left, and obviously football is right around the corner. So I'm feeling good. I'm ready to get some baseball winners in today. But also, we're getting closer and closer to that past the prop NFL that I know a lot of people in here remember. So I'm excited to get right back to there as well.
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming. I'm very, very excited for that. Obviously, fantasy football drafts, best ball drafts, everything's kind of coming up and coming in hot. How was the weekend for you? How'd the bets go there?
Yeah, it was a pretty quiet weekend over here, as most are. I like to, get the hard work out during the week, and take it a little bit easier because I think you know this as well as I do. Some of these weekend slates are crazy in terms of lineups, right? Yesterday, I was done. I stayed until 3:30 in the morning for my Luis Robert article. He didn't even start, couldn't even post it. It's just a sad day for me. I took the L after that one and just kind of relaxed the rest of the day. So hopefully we've got a little extra energy for today's slate.
Yeah, no, those are always the worst when you have something locked in that you like a lot and it's my day of rest today. It's just like when you can't predict it. There's really no way, obviously, to know what the manager's going to do in this situation, especially with these teams wanting to have some rest on some of these guys coming down the stretch. But yeah, I had a good weekend with some golf. If Russell Henley would have had one more, if he went to bogeyed, I think it was he bogeyed like two in a row and like the 14th or 15th. He would have made it. I would have had a 6 out of 6 make cut for DraftKings. I ended up doing really well. I had Zalatoris ticket to win, so that was nice. I had him to win. I always usually sprinkle 3 guys, and he was one of them. So always happy to take one down. That's I think 3 weeks in a row now. So I'm I don't know how we're doing it, but we're doing it at this point. But it's fun to watch, dude. Golf is a very underrated sport to watch. Like when you play it and you're just like, dude, I don't know how these guys are putting it 5-6 feet from the cup from 200 yards out.
Oh yeah, no, it's especially when you got that money on the line, right? It makes that every single putt feel that much more important, right there. Definitely agree.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was good. I was happy for him. Obviously, I don't know. Did you see the ending of it, the playoff stuff?
I did not. I heard it was fun though. I heard it was a good one, but
yeah, he hit a ball. I don't know what happened to the other guys. I didn't see it. His ball. I turned it on when Zalatoris had his ball that was stuck between a rock and the turf of the edge or the grass. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't even hit it. He couldn't hit it up. But I think, if I remember correctly, Straka ended up hitting it into the woods or something. He went out of bounds and then was hitting his fourth one, ended up getting it, I think, in 4 or 5. And then obviously Zalatoris decided to just pick it up, go to a drop zone, and put it within 6 feet of the cup and bang it in. So it was cool. It was cool for him after both these last two, especially Tom Kim too. Had a quad on his first one. Zalatoris went the full first day at +1. He was under cut line.
Yeah.
And then decides just to go off, which was pretty funny that both guys struggled in day one a little bit and then obviously came back to win, which is crazy.
Yeah, I believe I remember getting a text from you questioning if Zalatoris should even be on the PGA Tour after
that. It was so bad. The man was the worst putter I ever seen, and then all of a sudden the next day he's the man. I'm like, what is going on, dude? But his ball striking is so crazy. 330. He was hitting at 330 constantly, which was cool to watch. But yeah, let's get right on into it. 5 minutes in, we'll get our plays out for you guys. Check who's in the chat. Obviously got Jay in here. As always, first guy. We got Plus Money Bob. We do have one apiece, Bob. Don't worry. We have one Plus Money spot apiece. And yeah, let's get right on into it. A guy that's going to be on both of our lists. I'll kick it off to you. Start us off.
Yep, I'm going Alec, Bohm, and Nico Hoerner to both record a hit right here, -117. These are both guys that I think go a little bit underrated, right? They're both guys that don't carry the name value. They're both guys that you might not think of when you think, when you first look at the slate and you're looking for the Aaron Judges of the world to stick out. Both of these guys did. Obviously, both these guys, too, rating out over 90th percentile in expected batting average, which is what you like to see. You expect that tier to be reserved for the Paul Goldschmidts of the world only. But both these guys, obviously, Bohm 97th percentile and Hoerner 90th percentile, which is obviously pretty impressive in the grand scheme of things. We'll start out with Alec Bohm. This guy, you guys that follow the show should know, he's going up against a left-handed pitcher today. I mean, PPS knows he's on the show. We didn't talk about it. It seems like we're both on the same guy today. But Bohm versus a left-handed pitcher is exactly what we want. We do this quite often. 349 versus left-handed pitchers on the season. And then he's good against lefties, right? Because the top 3 pitches for Minor are traditionally not his best pitches, right? He's a fastball guy, which Bohm does crush. But then you pull out the slider, changeup combo, which Bohm he's more of a curveball guy, doesn't hit the changeup too well. But when you flip it on the side and you look at his stats just versus left-handed pitching, suddenly he's hitting 398, 357, and 300 against those top 3 pitches. So even pitches he's not as great against in general, like the slider, when it's coming from a lefty, he obviously is seeing it much better. I don't need to go much more into depth about Mike Minor. We've talked about how we like fading him a good amount this season. Obviously very solid against left-handed batters. That does not show as much against right-handed batters. Bohm's coming in with a hit in 21 of his last 25 games. I think he's in a great spot to keep it going. As for Nico Hoerner right here, good series against Washington. He crushed it in the first series. They're having a quick turnaround, playing each other now in D.C. rather than out in Wrigley Field. That's actually, it doesn't really matter for the batter, in my opinion, as much, but it does matter because Josiah Gray has sucked at home this season. We've talked about it a lot. His home road splits don't seem to make any sense at all, considering Nats ballpark. It's a little hitter friendly, but it's not too different than most of these other ballparks. It's pretty middle of the road, if you ask me personally. Gray obviously has not been as good at home, but even when he was out on the road, Hoerner went 2 for 3 against him, hitting a home run in that game, coming to this batting 302 on the season, which might surprise a lot of people, right? I haven't heard him in these hit parlay conversations, but he's hitting over 300 this season. 306 versus right-handed pitching, 333 over his last 15 games. Against Gray's top 3 pitches, he's batting 256 versus the fastball, which is by far Gray's worst pitch, right? That's Gray's, everything comes off the fastball, right? The slider and the curveball, those have been very solid this season, but the fastball hasn't. So even though this isn't Nico's best pitch out there, it's also Gray's worst pitch, which I do think gives us a little bit of an advantage right there. And then against his 2 better pitches that he's going to be leaning on a little bit more, then he hits real well, 356 versus the slider and 280 versus the curveball. Both of these guys, I think, are in smash spots today. I think getting him at minus 117 is very, very solid. So yeah, I'm taking 100%.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be talking about little things that we do like about it, and what we're gonna be on a different side of, because we are actually, again, I say this quite often, that we don't talk about our plays till 5 minutes before the show when we pop on, right? We don't text about them. We don't do any of that because that would just kind of, I don't know, ruin the integrity of the plays, right? Because then we would just like, oh, you like this, maybe I'll go with that. But we didn't 5 minutes before I showed him what I had. And funny because I'm on the other side of that Josiah Gray game here, and I'm also on Alec Bohm. I mean, Alec Bohm versus a lefty, not much else we really have to say about it. He killed that breakdown. But I'm going to be talking more about the Josiah Gray side. And Josiah Gray's actually been pretty dang good in like the terms of strikeouts. But his expected ERA is, like I said, a full run lower, right? He's in the top, 25% in strikeout, expected batting average, and whip percentage, right? A lot of things that we like to see when we're attacking strikeouts here. Going into games that he's gone up against the Dodgers, 6 Ks against them, 6 Ks against St. Louis, who we know is a tough team to strike out. Seattle, Philly, Miami, Texas, all those were in a row, right? That was when he was on his great run through July. Obviously, the last 2 games have been pretty good, besides obviously the Phillies and giving up 4 homers, right? But he's really not giving up like these singles. Like he's not getting beat up like that, right? He's giving up homers, and he's pretty much keeping teams at bay when it's not the home runs, right? He gave up 4 home runs. He had 5 hits allowed in that game. He gave up 5 hits. 4 of them were gone, right? And that's really his Achilles heel here. Obviously, we know he's not that great at home, but still 25% strikeout rate there. Cubs, huge drop off going away from Wrigley, right? We're seeing the Cubs at 230, 234 batting average away from Wrigley Field as a team, which I think is very important because you obviously talk about Ian Happ. I bet him at home, right? I won't touch him on the road, right? But now you look at him, Happ is 100% or 100-point lower batting average away from home, which is nuts. And as a team, it's 25 points lower collectively. So I think he can go a little bit deeper in this game. He's shown he was able to get guys out without striking him out in that first matchup. Actually went pretty deep in the game, deeper than I've seen him go in a long time. And his stuff was good. He just wasn't putting guys away, right? He was getting swings and misses. They just weren't with 2 strikes, right? So obviously that's a very encouraging thing here. And when I look at stuff that I want to see, a 42% whiff rate on the slider, 35 on the curveball, just stuff that I like to see when I'm going for strikeouts here, and I think Josiah Gray can get us there with the Cubs on the road.
Yeah, no, I don't think our opinions are too crazy different. I mean, even with what you said at the end, when you look at the whiffs on the curveball and the slider, it's showing those are 2 good pitches. And you're even saying he's getting these swings and misses. It's just not at 2 strikes. It's really because of the fastball, right? His fastball is pretty straight. It's not very high velocity, so it's not going by guys, and it's not moving very much. So guys are hitting it pretty well. That punishes you a lot more when you go up against a team like Philly, who's just swinging for the fences all the time. Like you said, capable of hitting 4 home runs in 5 games. It's a lot less possible, right, when you go up against some of these teams like the Cubs that he's had more success against this year because, obviously they're not as strong of a hitting team in general, and especially like you said on the road. So I agree. I think Gray's one of those guys that even what I believe in that Philly game, he had 4 strikeouts, I want to say, off the top of my head. But all of those were in the first 2 innings, and then the next 2 he just got bombed. So even when he was kind of getting crushed, he still can get those strikeouts. That's how he's going to get out of these outings. So I have nothing bad to say about Gray's strikeouts. That is clearly, his best path through. And then I obviously like the Bohm spot. So I definitely agree. I think there's plenty of room for some hits to happen in this game, and then plenty of Gray strikeouts as well.
Yeah, it is just unbelievable to look at how this man has allowed 29 homers this year.
Yeah.
That's unreal to hear a number like that. But obviously it comes with a lot of other things, right? He's actually on the road, like 205 batting average against. Like, that's crazy how he is getting up this many home runs and is still able to actually put up halfway decent numbers besides that. But Cubs have a little bit of a power efficiency right now, really only relying on like Wisdom Contreras right now to raise those numbers. But let's get right on into Pikkit here, a spot we're going to talk about in a little bit about this game. But I'll kick it to you first. We have Kikuchi here again. I think he makes the show every time for strikeouts, every time on the overs too. We have him facing off against Baltimore today in Rogers Center in Toronto. I'll kick it to you, Stu. What are you thinking here? You have any thoughts on the number 1 bet spot tonight on Pikkit?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if he went over last time we had him on the show or not, because I know I took his under. I'm trying.
He went. I don't know, because I saw he only had 4 against Baltimore, and he's facing Baltimore again. He only had 4 last time. So.
Yeah. Well, all I know is I love fading Kikuchi, so that's what I'll continue to do right here. I'm going to go under, like you just said, 4 against Baltimore last outing. He doesn't go very deep in these games. He really doesn't. 5 innings is pretty much what you'd kind of hope for. And I do understand that the bottom of this Baltimore lineup is the one that strikes out a lot more. We've talked about this plenty on the show. But they've also been better recently, right? Guys like Mateo are actually hitting the ball pretty well. Odor's hitting the ball pretty well. I'll be interested to see if Mullins starts and hits leadoff. They've been much more willing to even bump him back in the lineup against lefties recently. Obviously, Mullins can't hit lefties this season at all, and they actually put McKenna up in that 1 spot against the last lefty they faced in Baltimore.
It was Kikuchi. He went to the 8 against Kikuchi here.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm curious. The lineup, I think, will be a little bit interesting here, right? I'm kind of curious how that affects things. But for now, I'm going under on Kikuchi. Like I said, not making deep into these games, and 4Ks last outing. I just don't like this guy. I feel like people pick him because his name's cool. And I did that when I first started last year when I just wasn't watching baseball. I was like, Kikuchi, hell yeah, I'll tail this one. That's a great name. And I honestly feel like that might have something to do with this, but I'm going under right here.
Yeah, it's so tough because he does have a good strikeout percentage. His stuff is I'm going to go over. I'm pretty sure I lost on his over last time, but I'm pretty sure it was 5.5. They actually lowered it now. He's a little bit better at home. I think that extra strikeout definitely will help me here. Not anything I'm betting. I won't be betting this spot, but I will be on the over here. I'll tail the public here with Kikuchi and his 30% K rate at home this year.
Yeah, no, definitely got strikeout stuff. No doubt about that right there. It's just about how deep, how many guys he walks, how deep into this game he makes it. I mean, if you look at his baseball savant, it's pretty funny, right? Like, I believe decent strikeout percentage, then barrel percentage, everything else is terrible. So he's a high variance guy. You'll get either the bottom end or the top end. There's not much in between.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I rarely will actually put my money on Kikuchi unless they're going to give me like 4Ks or 3Ks, something low like that, where obviously I think he can get that pretty easily. But second one is one that I was not expecting to see here, and that is Shohei Ohtani under strikeouts. When's the last time that we've seen this? I don't know. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen Ohtani under here, and I can't back and under on Ohtani. I have to be on the other side. I just don't think I can. It's physically impossible for me to click an under on Ohtani with that splitter that he has, and now he's using his slider extremely effectively. It's a tough spot for the Mariners. A lot of righties in this lineup. And yeah, I mean, you got Julio, who has a ton of swing and miss, obviously a ton of power, right? Suarez, I guarantee, will have 2 strikeouts. If they have a strikeout prop of over 1.5 at plus money, I would take that in a heartbeat. He's going to get blown up here. And I like that bottom of the order for swing and miss too. Cal Raleigh's got a ton of pop, but strikes out quite a bit too. So I'm going to be on the over here. I really don't know what number they would have to give me on Ohtani for me to take it under. I don't know if I could do it. I really don't think I can click a button that says under on Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean, even just looking through his game logs, right, we're seeing his last 2 outings versus Oakland. This is why I assume the under is popular. We're seeing 5 and 7 strikeouts, right? 2 very low leverage games against Oakland, right? That probably nobody in the world was watching except for Ohtani. And then if you scroll back beyond that, right, 11, 12, 10, 11, 13 strikeouts, right, in the 6 outings leading up to those very low, maintenance games versus the Athletics. And now we're getting kind of one of those, we've talked about this a little bit more. I personally think it elevates it when you got an ace versus H situation on the mound, right? What this is Ohtani versus Castillo on the other side. And we all saw, obviously, what Castillo did in his first outing with the Mariners against the Yankees. That was some very nice dominance right there. It's another one of those pitching duels. I agree with you. I really don't know what it would take to go under right here. I think the stakes have been raised again. This is a much bigger game. It'll be a much more exciting game. And like you said, it's just so hard to take an under on this guy that's shown absolute dominance in the strikeout department. So I don't know what capper was brave enough to put this out. I respect him because if this is the most popular play, someone's got to be tailing a capper somewhere out there, right? I don't think there's no way the public as a collective came together and all 300 of you guys bet the under on Ohtani. I refuse to believe that one. So I do respect whoever had the balls to put that one out, but I'm going to disagree with him right here. And I do like the little 10 strikeouts each from Castillo and Ohtani ladder right here. I think that's a nice little parlay worth $5 or so.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a buy low spot, but have you guys watched these athletic games? I've been watching these athletic games because I've had money on a lot of these athletic games because they've been pretty good to me, man. They find a way. And Rodon, 4 or 5 Ks against them, right? These guys swing early in the count. They're making you work. These guys are all dudes who need to do well to stay in the league. Yeah. All they're doing is swinging early so they don't look stupid, right? I'm not saying that they're going to go out here and blow up Ohtani, right? I'm not saying that, which they didn't, but they're swinging early in counts. Ohtani when is the last time we've seen Ohtani go 6 innings and only throw what, 90 pitches, right? Yeah. That means they're swinging early in the counts. Obviously, we've seen Ohtani when he's going up against these better teams, he goes right at him, right? And I think that this is a spot where we're going to see him go for those strikeouts, try to blow up the strikeout numbers here. And maybe pushing for MVP again. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. Heading over to the Blue Jays game for both of our last plays here. I'll kick it to you. Your 1+ money spot of the day. I can't blame you here. I've been liking what I've been seeing out of Santander.
Yep, I'm going Santander over 1.5 total bases plus 125 for half a unit over on DraftKings right now. This one is tough for me. I was back and forth between Mountcastle and Santander until the very last moment. Both of those guys have had some success against Kikuchi over the course of their careers. And I might have to end up sprinkling those two both for a home run as well. I don't want to spoil the home run parlay aspect. But kind of when you look at Kikuchi, right? We talked about it a little bit before. When you look at he's good versus lefties, obviously. And then it goes up, I believe, 263 batting average to right-handed batters, and then 502 slugging. So the slugging jumps way up from the low 300s to now the low 500s against right-handed batters, which is obviously what you like to see. Santander is one of those guys that for the first half of the season had pretty even splits against both lefties and righties, but now you're seeing that start to separate by a lot. He's hitting much, much better against left-handed pitching recently. This is something kind of, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet as much because the difference still is only about 20 points in batting average. But as someone that's really kind of adapted the Orioles as my second team with the Nationals disappointing in the second half of the season, you've really noticed Santander's crushed lefties. I mean, I've been playing him a decent amount versus lefties this season, and it's normally at a plus 100 price. So to get it at a plus 125 price is nice right here. Obviously, now he's on the road as opposed to at home right here. But also, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for those stadium conditions, right? If it's a right-handed batter that has pull power, that's a lot harder in O Stadium now that they moved it back 25 feet, and they have that really stupid wall back there. They don't have that, obviously, out here in Toronto. So I do think the hitting conditions are just as solid right here. Like I said, like both Santander and Mountcastle get it done right here. But I do think Santander's coming in with much better recent form. And then additionally, he hits Kikuchi's pitches a lot better, right? Going to be hitting 310 versus the lefty fastball this season, 292 versus the lefty changeup this season, and then 222 versus the slider. Nothing great there, but still 2 out of his 3 top pitches hit him very well against the season. So I'm going to trust Santander to keep up the good recent form and get the job done against the lefty today.
Yeah, I'm just going to go right into mine. I mean, we're talking about the same game. Might as well just go right there. And I agree. I there's nothing else I like more than being on the same games. Obviously, we're on different plays in these games, but I absolutely love this spot for the over here, first 5. We've talked about Kikuchi here, and I like his strikeouts. I do, but it's the same thing as Josiah Gray, right? He can get the Ks and still get blown up. We've seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
Like Seattle versus Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray had 9 Ks, but gave up like 4 or 5 home runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going here. Kikuchi is a little bit better at home. I understand that, but he's allowed 16 home runs in 62 innings, which is not something you want to see at all. And now you're going to move, like I said, Santander to the right side. You're going to move a lot of these switch guys over. I would not be surprised to see Cedric Mullins close to the bottom, even though he has been hitting extremely well as of late. He's been looking very, very good there. But my biggest thing is, how is Kyle Bradish going to get these dudes out? Really, what is he going to do? Against righties this year is a 356 batting average to righties, right? And what do these guys have? All damn power right-handed bats, right? Bradish has looked better as of late because he's been throwing his fastball and been cutting, but you're going to go through Vladdy, Bichette, Kirk. How are you going to go through all these right-handed bats without giving up a home run here or giving up these walks that he's been prone to do? Kikuchi has faced Baltimore twice in the past 2 months and gave up a total of 5 home runs in 9 innings, right? And one of them's at home, one of them's on the road. So I was really happy to see that he did this at home too, because I was a little bit worried about the home road splits, but at home, he got blown up too, right? He gave up 4 runs in 4 innings and only threw 68 pitches, right? And he was out of there, right? So I expect runs from both sides. I think both team totals are live for the first 5. And yeah, I really, really like this game for some runs. I'm just really concerned with how Bradish is going to get these guys out. I really just don't know how he's going to do it. Blue Jays at home as well, number 3 in the MLB in OPS. And the first is the Rockies, who I don't count because they suck everywhere else. And number 2 is the Dodgers. And right behind them is the Toronto Blue Jays, Yankees right behind them. So you're seeing the top teams at the top of this lineup of the best teams at home. And it's going to be a tough game, I think, for Kyle Bradish. Even if he goes and has a pretty decent outing, I expect the ball to be flying out of Rogers Center tonight.
Yeah, no, and I believe what the Orioles are coming off of, I want to say they had a rest day yesterday, I believe, but their bullpen was also very, very tired before that, too. They had a bunch of consecutive games, which means Bradish might get an extra just half inning to start, right? They might just send him back out there for the fifth, and we all know that it only really takes one or two guys right here. I agree. I think the Blue Jays could probably cover this themselves. You said it with that batting average versus right-handed batters, and then exactly what Toronto does. That's their whole lineup is just complete right-handed power right here. So I'm glad we're in the same game. I'm glad we're seeing very similar things right here because I agree. I think there's plenty of sparks flying in this game, and I think there's plenty of hit parlay pieces or total bases props or home run props in store for this one.
My last thing about this, and I'm going to just kind of piggyback off what you said about maybe getting that extra half inning or starting, right? First time through the order, Kyle Bradish has a 4.73 ERA, right? Pretty decent, right? Better than what you'd expect. Second time through, a 6.6. And when this man has found his way to the third time through, he's got a 10.6, right? So if he finds his way to third time through, I'm gonna be sprinkling a home run prop at plus 1,200. You're probably going to find that Vladdy third time through the order if he hasn't hit one yet. But yeah, dude, I think that this is going to be a fun game for both sides. I think offense is going to play.
Completely agree.
All righty. We got a couple questions in here. We'll get to them here. I'll kick to you first to start this off. I don't know if you saw Jonathan in here bringing up what he uses. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I use the ESPN app too sometimes. It definitely is a bit annoying, but I do think it's good when they have the lineups up at the end for just quick ease on my phone. But when I am on my computer, obviously Baseball Savant is now the number one, I think, for a lot of people too. Obviously, we talk about hit parlays in here, total bases. We talk about the pitch splits, right? They make it really easy to lay out a pitcher's top pitches. They lay out opposing batting average versus those pitches. It's very easy for us to see kind of what guys have good history and then what guys have great underlying numbers. You know, you get a good breakdown of every single player, you know, where they rank out in terms of strikeout percentage, walk percentage, all that kind of stuff is very helpful for me. I also do think Pine Sports is something we both contribute to, and they obviously do a bunch of free data and stuff where you can just get a report every single day of the top hitters, what their projections like based on recent form, and kind of what guys have gone over their total bases over the last 10 games, over the last 20 games. You can kind of look through each person. You can see how many times they've gone against a left-handed pitcher, how many times they've gone against a right-handed pitcher, all that kind of information. There's plenty of free spots in the world for you to get that at. There's also props.cash is a paid for one. I believe it's pretty cheap, but they're another good service where you just pay $10 or so a month, and they have all kinds of information available for you. But there's a lot of places. You just got to kind of scope out, find the best of each one, and, you know, do your best to not spend too much time getting lost in those websites.
Yeah, I would say Baseball Savant is my favorite for hitters. I would say my Fangraphs is my favorite for pitchers. And Pine would probably be my favorite just to kind of give me that little added confidence at the end, right? You don't go in there and just go in and look at the numbers on it and click it, right? Use that as like a little bit more of oh, I'm more confident in it now after looking at it, right? It's just kind of more of that assurance blanket over the top, you know?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't think we have any other questions in here. If you have any more, drop them in the comment section here, guys. Otherwise, we're just going to go through our recap here, and we'll get you guys on your way after our home run parlay.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good. I'm starting out with Alec, Bohm, and Nico Hoerner right here to both record a hit. This is minus 117 over on FanDuel right now. And then I went for half a unit plus money right here. Anthony Santander over 1.5 total bases plus 125 over on DraftKings. And then, I am fading Kikuchi right here. And I will be, I guess, double fading. I'll be fading the under on Ohtani, and I'll be sprinkling a little on that 10-10 Ohtani Castillo right here.
Beautiful. I will be on Alec Bohm as well with Josiah Gray 6Ks plus money spot for me. I really like this spot. Might get a little bit more money of mine on this one. This is a FanDuel line. I know on DraftKings it's like plus money for over 5, which I think 4.5 at this price is better. And then I will be on the over for Kikuchi here, even though I'm fading him in my bet. I just think that he could still get there, and I'll be on the over as well. So fading the under spot for Ohtani. All right, to the best part, right? We're back here coming for this one. Did you had Mookie last game, right? Did he go in that game?
The day after.
That's what Christian Walker hit the 2 days in a row after. That's what I've been saying. We're so damn close on these. I saw that, and I saw you. I was looking through it and saw that he had Mookie, but I'm like, did he actually get it that day? Because he's been hitting homers. It's just we're just like 1 or 2 days off here.
Yeah, no, and even then I had a collab with NBA Props who's in here right now. We had Devers total bases, and he hits the bomb yesterday instead of Saturday. Just 1 day off a lot of these. We even joked about it in the comments. We're even like, might have to run it back tomorrow. We're always 1 day off, and then we don't, and then they hit the home run. But we'll live with it. We'll move on right here today. I already teased a little bit who I like. I'm going to do Ryan Mountcastle for a home run. He's plus 400 on DraftKings right here. Jay brought up something that I definitely agree with right here. He said, I like it. He's saying he liked it, but Mountcastle, he had to fade because his numbers versus the left-handed pitchers were brutal. I agree. I looked at those same numbers right before I got on the show, and it's hard to look at. But the good news is that's against all left-handed pitchers, specifically against Kikuchi, right? He's 3 for 8 with 2 home runs and a double, right? So we can look at those underlying numbers against lefties all we want, but it's clear he sees Kikuchi specifically very well. And to get that at plus 400, I think it's worth a couple bucks for sure, especially considering Mountcastle, like I dropped on the show last time before the game was rained out. He is the highest OPS of any active player in the MLB with over 100 plate appearances against the Blue Jays. That's over guys like Mike Trout. He loves hitting the Blue Jays. He has a good history against Kikuchi. The numbers suck versus lefties. I saw them. They are not good. But he obviously sees something specific versus Kikuchi. So I'm going to take the risk at plus 400.
All right. I will roll with give me Bo Bichette today. I'm gonna roll Bo Bichette. I would go Vladdy, but I'm not sure his number's gonna be very nice for this. But give me Bo Bichette. I think he had a 2-homer game in Baltimore there. He's obviously seen the Orioles well. And one of those was off a bullpen arm as well. So I think that we could get a nice little spot here for some bullpen guys for Bichette to get to. I'm not sure what the line would be. I'm hoping that he has a better number than Vladdy. If he doesn't, I'd probably go Vladdy instead.
Yeah, so in the same game parlay, when you do that on DraftKings, it actually makes their numbers even better in the same game parlay. So Bichette's plus 550 in the same game parlay. Ooh. Mountcastle is plus 425. So that brings us to plus 2,500 right here.
I like that.
Yep, that's actually 500 points better than on FanDuel. You get a little boost in DraftKings for being a DGen. So it looks like we'll take advantage of that right here.
Yeah, hey, I'll take it. They're gonna give me more. I'll take it. I like that. I like that a lot. That's damn near the same price I got for Will Zalatoris to do well 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Win, right? And this is giving it to me to run into a baseball here. Bradish's numbers he's giving up 10 homers in 36 innings, so to righties alone. So it should be an interesting game because Bradish obviously has the stuff to get swings and misses, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough game. All right, went through our recap. We have our play out here for home runs. 35-minute mark, actually. We're flying through this. What do you got for the people here, Mono, before we head on out today and head into a full day of baseball? Huge slate.
Yeah, if you haven't joined us already, you guys want to make sure to go download the Pikkit Sports app. That's where we get our Taylor Fade from, obviously, and that's also where we post some of our additional bets over there. Completely free app. They have the bet tracker. And if you sign up, you get between $3 and $100. Obviously, free money is exactly what you like to see, considering you have to do nothing. You have to download an app that takes about 5 minutes, put in a quick little code, and you get a chance at $100. And more importantly, you get all those great tools. Obviously, you can use them, you cannot use them. That's really up to you. But Pikkit really does what we do. They try to make you a smarter, better. We try to make you smarter, better. We have a good relationship with them. We appreciate them. And yeah, I hope you guys join us over there with them. You'll notice too, if I think a line might move, I'll toss it over there on Pikkit at 4 a.m. And the one guy that likes it, I see you. I'm glad we're on the same page. So that's what we like to do sometimes. You guys are going to make sure to want to follow us over there if you haven't already. I know a lot of you guys are over there already too, which we appreciate.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Make sure you use our code. I believe it's PTP for that.
PTP.
And make sure when you type in Pikkit, I got a lot of questions. It's Pikkit. I get a lot of people like, where is this? Where is it? Where is it? It's different than Pick It, right? It's Pikkit there.
True.
But yeah, Monday, huge slate, a lot better than last week Monday. Last week Monday's had us. That was a shit slate. Now we had a full one today. Best of luck on all your bets, guys. We'll see you guys Wednesday here for another round. Again, make sure you're following both of us on Twitter. I did not check the Wednesday slate, but when we start seeing the games that start a little bit earlier, we might move it up a little bit. So make sure you follow both of us. Have that bell on when we drop some stuff. And best of luck on your personal bets. And if you're tailing us, hopefully we can get a sweep for you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you Wednesday, and good luck. Peace.